now you see her.
You are magnificent!
Welcome to Her Table, the podcast that shines a spotlight on the badass women who are redefining the game. Join hosts Kate Foley and Megan Martinez as they unlock the secrets of success from the brightest female pioneers in the industry. Whether you're a young woman aspiring to break into the sports industry or a seasoned professional looking for fresh inspiration, come on and grab a seat at Her Table, where women's voices are amplified, dreams are realized, and the game is changed.
You must always have faith in yourself.
Seek out strong women to befriend, to learn from, to be inspired by.
Women need a seat at the table, and in some cases, they need to create their own table.
All right, welcome to the show. I'm Megan Martinez.
And I am Kate Foley.
And this is Her Table.
We have a guest today who I cannot believe we have not met before or crossed paths. We have Faatimah, the founder and CEO of the Women's Premier Basketball Association.
Yeah, Faatimah, she graduated from Ryerson University in 2017. She's played in El Salvador to Norway to Jamaica.
And she is actually on the Jamaican women's national team, which is amazing. She's a point guard. She's still playing overseas, but she's also changing women's basketball like from the ground up in Oakland, her hometown. I'm so excited to hear her story. Let's get into it with her and see what we're going to learn today. Faatimah, we are so excited to have you here at Her Table. At first, like one of the first official guests in studio.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. It's been an amazing experience getting to meet you guys.
Ooh, love it.
Well, we are all about just sharing stories and celebrating women in sports, but also just women in general and stories that are inspiring to other people. So thank you for coming and sharing your story and your journey. So Megan and I have a fun game we like to play just to get to know people, and it lets the fans get to know you too. And it's called This or That.
Let's do it.
This or that. So it's quick thinking. So if you take too long, we know you're trying to figure out which answer is the right one.
Seconds do I have? 2
Two.
seconds.
Yep.
Two.
Ready.
Two. Okay.
I'll be counting down on here.
TVs or movies?
Movies.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Cats or dogs?
Cats. Oh my
Cat.
Whoa.
That is surprising.
Hot
I was
take.
not. Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah. I thought you were for sure going to be like dog.
I had a bad experience with a dog, and cats have just been like my spirit animal since birth. So cats 100%.
Okay, cat. Okay, Megan, what do you got?
Ocean or mountain?
Mountains.
Waffle or pancake?
Waffles.
Would that have chicken on it or just plain waffles?
Oh my gosh. Just chicken and waffles. But I'll do plain. I'll do plain. Yeah.
Plain. Okay. So she's a Waffle House girl.
Oh yeah.
Not a pancake house. She's a Waffle House
When
girl.
I'm out here, I do go to Roscoe's. That's like the only time I'll go and get chicken and waffles. Every other time, it's strictly waffles.
Are you eat in or eat out?
Eat out.
Are you travel to the past or travel to the future?
Travel to the future.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, I love it. Oh, we're coming back to that.
Yeah.
So I hope you know where you want to go. Are you a skydiving or scuba diving?
Both scare me, but if I...
My spirit animal has entered the building because I don't want to do either.
play with my life. I'm like, I'm going to stay on the ground. We're good.
But you would pick
scuba.
Okay. Scuba diving.
Okay. What do you got?
Traveling on the plane or traveling in a car?
Plane.
Yeah, I can't do the car rides. I can't.
How about playing in Ireland or playing in Germany?
Playing in Germany.
Love it.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
A night owl. Oh my God.
Oh, so you...
insomnia.
Oh, I know. That's okay. I'm like your grandma.
Yeah.
I like to go to bed early.
And in bed by 9?
9:30.
I'm trying to get there. I need to get there so I can like be more productive during the day.
I don't even know if it makes me more productive. It just makes me feel like I'm setting a goal and I'm getting there, but I don't know if it actually is. It's accumulating to anything fun.
But how early do you get up? Because I feel like that could...
Yeah, I mean, who's watching this so I can tell the truth? My son's like, not true. I usually am up at like 6:30, 6:45. But like, I'm not a morning person, like in the least. Would rather be up all night than the morning. Some of those people that just like wake up and are just in it to win it. No, that's not healthy.
Your life right now. I know it's not healthy.
That's you.
I'll go to sleep at like 2, wake up at 7. And I'm like, oh my God, I have all these things to do. And I'll just get to it.
Wow.
I need to change that.
You need to get on some show to watch to put you to sleep at night. Like maybe Vampire Diaries would be good for you to start it.
With her pilot when I get home.
with her puppy. Okay, oceans or mountains?
Mountains.
Really?
Yes.
And you live in California?
I know, but I've heard like a bad experience with like ocean. I know I said scuba diving before. I know it's like conflicting a little bit, but mountains, I like being able to see a nice view.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're beautiful.
Okay.
Mountains.
Yeah, it's cool. Like a lot of cool.
I don't know what I would go with. That's a hard
We
question.
don't have too many like cool beaches over in the bay. Like the last time I went to a cool beach was when I was playing in Spain. We went to America.
Okay.
Beautiful. Blue water, white sand, beautiful experience.
See, I'm all about the white sand, beautiful blue beaches. No offense to what we got going on over here, but it ain't for me. Like, it's cold water. It's not. I'm not gonna.
Carmel's really nice. Carmel by the sea. Have you guys been?
No,
But like, it's cold.
I haven't.
It is, but like again, I wouldn't mind being on the beach that day if I was there. It's really beautiful.
I'll take anywhere tropical.
Yes.
It doesn't even matter. I'll go if it's blue water and white sand. I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm so there. Okay. Well, I want to dive into like 1,000 things you have going on because you just told us you only sleep 5 hours a night. So I don't know what you do with your other 19 hours in your day. And I just got that math problem right.
I know that was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about math earlier.
We were like math, and I'm like,
The math is mathing right now.
It is mathing right now.
yeah, it is. What for you has been, you just have your hand in so many pots. So many pots. And I applaud you for it because I am trying to get out of pots and you're trying to get into pots. So I'm going to slide them your way and then you can just take them over. But you are a founder, you're a CEO of a basketball league.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
what is that?
I mean, to be completely honest, for me to even get to that space, I needed a bit of a push.
Yeah.
I was a part of another association before this one, but again, like I said, it was a learning experience for me because I wasn't really able to be fully in control and just, let my creativity like run free. So when the opportunity came up and I was able to really just invest all that energy I was putting into something else, into something that I had my name on, like that's when I was just like, you know what, I'm ready. I'm going to take on this challenge. And, when I created this, I was literally overseas in Mexico playing in the top league. Like I just signed a contract days before and rebranded within like a week's time. And I mean, I was really shocked, but just honored to have as many people follow me and just commit to what I was now doing and just taking that leap of faith with me. And, we're a year and a couple months now into our second season and we're very well received by the community. And, it's been able to grow. We've been able to start with 6 teams. Now we're at 8. We have a lot more people coming in from out of state playing in this league, but just the overall, things that have been put into this league. Not a lot of sleep, a lot of, selflessness being put into this because it's just like, I'm trying to help others live out their dreams. I'm trying to create this space where everyone can thrive, everyone can be successful, everyone can network. So, I mean, there's been some challenges, but I feel like I'm equipped enough to handle them. And, I just love being able to give back. Like basketball has given me so much. It's been able to create this life that I now live. So I want to be able to, do that for someone else, and then they're able to pay it forward and continue this, this circle.
Right. Okay. So it's the Women's Premier Basketball Association,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So what is, for people like me that need education, what is the difference between that and the WNBA?
So we really put an emphasis on creating a space where, especially, with all the cuts that the WNBA made this year, we're really more in a space of like a developmental league. So, we have a lot of kids that have just graduated from college. Some of them didn't get picked up, or, picked up for training camp, or some of them don't know how to navigate with, okay, now they're on their own. How do they get from point A to getting overseas? So this space that I've created, it allows that. We're educating them. There's other players, veterans like myself that are in the league that are, creating this mentorship with them to where they're building their confidence. I mean, I think the biggest thing is when you look at combines here in the States, you're putting, a limitation on yourself. You have 2 days to perform in front of all these scouts, all these coaches, all these agents. And if you don't show your best self within that time, your window gets smaller and smaller. Whereas this league we have here, it's 10 weeks. So I am every week we're helping them get better and better. We're helping them, obtain film. We're helping them obtain stats so that they can now start building their resume. And obviously the European season starts around September, August. So, we're able to compile all this stuff that they've been able to accomplish in a 10-week frame and hopefully market them over to, clubs or wherever they're trying to go so that they can hopefully, achieve their dreams of playing or being now a professional athlete.
So the WNBA doesn't have a G League, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm just now like it's like,
it's now dawning on a lot of people.
I'm like, so what you're saying is like that developmental league for like I said, people who aren't in that space that are ready. But then at the same time, I'm like, so the NBA has G League,
right?
Which is their developmental program,
and then you have this XFL, and USFL,
and the WNBA really doesn't have anything. So you have literally like started some really cool shit, and it is literally gonna change basketball the way it's growing. And as I hear this, I'm just like, first of all, why did no one else think of this? And secondly, this is your purpose and calling in life is because you have started something that wasn't there. Like you were creating something that's like, from the ground up. And you just like light switched one day, just sat up in bed and we're like, you know what?
Overseas in Mexico.
She was on the beach. No, she was in the mountains in Mexico.
Mountains in Mexico.
Just waiting. So like, you did it. How did big dream, big vision.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do first? Like literally, I want to do this.
Yeah. I think what really, jump-started that whole process is just my overall experiences from my childhood. Like, I now am in a space where I'm talking about it more. Like, one of the most pivotal points for me is when my family and we were homeless and we had to live we were living in a shelter. So
Here in the States?
Here in the States, in, California, over in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. And, during that time, it's a lot of things. These are a lot of changes that are happening in my life. And I had the decision, I can either be a product of my environment or I can continue to just keep pushing forward and know that this situation isn't going to define me. Just having a strong sense of self as well, just at the age of 11 or 12. So, I mean, the school that I was at a charter school. They didn't really have a basketball program. And I think my PE teacher at the time knew because she really pushed for that to happen my 7th grade year. So, whenever I was on the court as a kid, it allowed me to be in a space where, okay, yes, I'm living in this situation right now, but I don't have to be that person. It helped me to kind of create a second identity for myself. So basketball, literally middle school, wanted to go to a different school for high school because, charter school, there's limitations to that. And I praised the movie Love and Basketball because I was like, I want that for myself. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to continue doing what I love and be a professional. Why not? So my principal ended up signing papers for me to transfer out and go to St. Joe's, which is the school that Jason Kidd went to over in Alameda.
Nice. I've been to St. Joe's quite a few times. Mr. Curry did a bunch of shoots over at St. Joe's.
Yeah. So I ended up going there. My freshman year I made varsity, but again, with not having a trainer growing up and just kind of, I looked up to Allen Iverson a lot. Just watching him play, I loved the street ball mentality. So that allowed me to just kind of stand out in middle school. And then, by the time high school comes around, it's more of a structured play. You have to be able to fit within this structure in order for you to be on the court with other players and still be able to be successful. So I kind of struggled a bit my first year, and then I transferred over to NSNL my sophomore year, and I ended up graduating from there. And then college, bounced around quite a bit because, again, I didn't really have that much guidance. The guidance that I did have, I lived with my coach, Kenya Babers. I met him during my time over at St. Joe's, and then I ended up, he ended up getting the coaching job over at NSNL. So I ended up living with his family during just my midway 9th grade year all the way to my senior year, his family, but he ended up passing away my junior year. And that was someone I really confided in to just kind of understand more about myself. Because my dad wasn't around, and he was a great father figure. He was a great coach. He was a great just overall person and just gave me some really amazing life lessons. So after his passing, obviously his brother stepped up and I ended up calling him my uncle, but just didn't really get to play a lot during college. And, that really did something to my confidence. And I had to really understand who I was, even though someone didn't maybe see value in me, or if I didn't fit into that system at that point, I was just like, this is an end for me. If I want something, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep doing whatever it needs to be done in order for me to get to where I want to be. So I finally make it and I play overseas my first year. I'm in El Salvador, and then, I end up going to France, and then I end up going to Australia, Norway, Egypt, Greece, and then, but I think the beautiful thing is with all those experiences, I'm just like, okay, I want something like this in the Bay Area. I know that if I didn't do it, or if I didn't go through what I had to go through, no one would be able to create what I've created and be successful at it. Because I'm just like, okay, all these programs that I've been around, I'm a really big student of the game. I pay attention to things. I like to network wherever I'm at. Like if I win or, we lose against a team, I still make a good impression on the coach and stuff like that. Because I'm just like, who knows? Maybe I'll be here next year, or who knows? Someone I may know.
Yeah, or no.
Exactly.
Where you're going to see somebody.
Yeah.
And that is what's scary about this world. Yeah. You either have that, oh, goody, or, ooh, no.
And I've had a bunch of full circle moments because, like, now later on in my career, like, last year when we played in Cuba, like, I got to meet some of the players that I played against my first year playing professionally. So, I mean, just that in itself, it's been amazing. But when we get back to the league, I've figured out, okay, this is what I didn't like while I was overseas, and this is what I did like. And now I start implementing it into what I believe to be an amazing league that's going to not only benefit me, but it's benefiting the community. And not just the people that are there, but also the next generation of athletes. Yeah.
What's your, goal with it? You build it. It's your little baby. So where
it is
in 10 years, where do you, 5 years, you built it.
Yeah.
Now what?
I literally want this to be like a developmental league, Again, I think the main reason why, some of those players get cut is because they need more development. They need more spaces to be able to, work on these things. And I mean, we've got this right here. The league's FIBA certified. Our coaches are USA Basketball certified as well. So the credibility is there.
Right.
It just makes it that much easier when I'm sending players over because teams don't have anything to worry about. They know this isn't a rec league. They know this isn't a church league. They know that they're playing against top quality players and they're able to produce.
She is going to be, I'm calling it right now, everyone watching, she is going to be the commissioner of the WNBA G League division.
Seriously.
In 5 years. I'm calling
Seriously.
All right.
5 years.
I love that for myself, and I'm going to manifest that as well. So thank you for speaking that into the
Hey.
Now, what goes into, because you're in season right now.
Yeah.
What goes into planning all that? You even have a championship in August. I mean, I can't imagine creating a whole entire league and then creating a tournament, everything.
Yeah. And being a human
And that too.
alive. That's something 18 people need to be doing. And it's just a girl.
Mentally, it is a lot. I'm starting to feel it more.
Excuse me.
Mentally, physically, emotionally. But just all the things that go into creating this. As soon as the season ended last year and I was already in Spain, I was literally working on this from October to make everything what it is now. And even with things being in season now, I'm constantly working every single week. I'm meeting with, and now I have an amazing team with me. Obviously they are non-paid, so there's only so much that they can do, but I'm still so grateful to have them there with me and, take on some of the responsibilities because it is a lot. Again, that's why I'm going to sleep so late. I literally had 5 hours of sleep because I'm I don't have enough time to get this all done. And I want to make it to where, I make it to where people just have to show up. I put in all the hard work. I get there early. I go to bed late. I stay the entire day at, games to make sure everything is running smoothly.
Yeah. Well, it's that ownership factor, right? Okay, I want to do it. So if you're not doing this, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's what are your hobbies? Yeah, if you're, okay, and don't tell me nothing right now because that's not true. That's not true. And if that is true, then we're done. We're going outside right now. What, if you weren't running this league, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't running this league and I was just being a player?
Not even a player. If you weren't in women's basketball at all right now, what would you be doing?
Honestly, when I was 6 years old, I made my first dish. My mom taught me how to make pasta. So at that point in my life, I thought I was going to grow up to be a chef. Wow. Yeah. So if I wasn't playing basketball, I'd probably be, would have finished culinary school by then, hopefully, and be...
And your family's Jamaican heritage, right?
Yes, mother is Jamaican, father is very mixed up on that side, but for the most part, I am very well acquainted with my Jamaican roots. So yeah.
And you play for the Jamaican national team too, right?
Yes.
How cool is that? Yeah.
It's been a blessing. oh my God, just to have that recognition as like one of the best for, you know, my respective country, like that means so much. And if you would have told me that I'd be playing for the Jamaican national team probably a couple of years back, I'd be like, I don't believe you. But it took a lot of work. You know, again, like I said, I'm really good at networking. So I knew what I wanted to do. I never had a Jamaican passport up until last year. It was like a 2-year process to like get it. But met with the coach while I was playing in Norway, and we literally hit it off. And, you know, I put the work in to, you know, get my paperwork together to make sure that, you know, post-pandemic, I was able to compete with the team. So it wasn't easy. I want to say that. It is very hard, but I got it.
And now you have it, and here you are. It is the first Black woman-owned FIBA certified league in California.
Yes.
Like,
Wow.
this is your table. We're just at it today.
Yeah,
Like, literally.
seriously.
Like, we're just over here living our best life, and she's
Amazing.
just out here running the world. Like,
Amazing.
what?
I mean,
What? How? Like, how? But at the same time, like, okay, so the next you, right? Like, what are you telling a little girl that was you at 8 years old? I mean, you went from a homeless shelter to the Jamaican national team. Like, I don't think you are giving yourself enough credit to what you have accomplished in a short time span, but the steps you've taken have all built something specifically for you.
yeah.
And every part of that is part of your journey.
Yeah.
Like, so what do you say to that little girl that is in the shelter where you were and where you are now? What do you tell her?
Just dream big and don't dim your light to accommodate others around you. Like, always operate at a higher vibration, higher frequency, because you're going to attract the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
So-
something you were like scared of? Like, what's like
Failure,
Yeah.
investing all this time and it not, I put in a lot of work in whatever I do. Like, I go in it wholeheartedly because it's just like, if I'm not going to do something, like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to put my heart into it. I'm going to put my soul into it, because like, I don't like doing anything half-assed. So when I created the Women's Premier Basketball Association, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, this has to be my focus. Like, I'm going to have to make sacrifice. I'm not going to be able to like go out and hang out with friends or, you know, and it's a big, you know, disciplinary factor in this, is because like, if you want to be successful, like you're going to have to give up some things. Like, I mean, I would like to see my family more, and they live literally down the street from me, but they understand that like I'm so busy. And I try to do my best to communicate that with them and just let them know it's not personal. It's just, I'm really focused on what I'm doing.
Have any of your athletes made it to the WNBA?
So not yet, but I believe one of our players will. So just a little backstory. Akira DaCosta, not sure if any of you guys have heard of her, but I believe 2017, she was a McDonald's All-American, Jordan Brand Classic All-American, you know, USA 3-on-3 gold medalist and MVP. Wow. And she went to Baylor for her first year, and they won a national championship. Some things hindered her, you know, career from progressing, but you would think a kid like that would
That
be
much talent, right?
would be, their future would be set, correct?
Right.
So, you know, they kind of fall off the map for a couple of years, and unfortunately last year she was a victim of sex trafficking. And the only way she got out of that is because her dad literally saved her. Like, I believe like the car was moving, she jumped in the car as soon as like he was taken off, and she had to like literally escape that way. But, you know, months later, she ends up joining the league, especially not having any information about it, just, you know, trusting other people that have been a part of this. And, you know, Coach Cameo played a really big role in that, because he's known Akira for some time. But she ended up playing in this league. And this time, like, I'm literally overseas in Mexico for like the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. And I'm looking at this girl's stats. I'm like, who is this girl? Like, you go from, and I look at everybody's resume before they get in the league. I'm like, okay, just to put things into perspective, I don't want anyone to be in this unless they're going to be able to thrive, or they're going to, you know, leave better, because I'm a big person. Like, whatever I'm a part of, I want to leave it in a better place than where it started out. So this girl comes in with no resume, but she's dropping 20 points, 15 rebounds, walking double-double at this point, right? I come back, I have this conversation with her. I'm like, hey, Akira, like, what do you want to do? She's like, I want to play overseas, right? And normally, if you don't have any, if you don't have, you know, a resume to just show what you've been able to accomplish in the last years, no one's going to, you know, no one's going to pay you any mind or anything like that. So she ends up winning MVP. We actually lose to her team in the finals last year. Unfortunately, we did it to ourselves, but it's okay because at the end of the day, she won big. We were able to help her get a contract to play over in Sweden. Like couple weeks before she like kind of solidifies that, I'm at this event for Coach Cameo, his Gems in the Gym event, and I'm in the back. I'm like, okay, Akira, let's work on your resume. I'm literally in the back on Canva putting together her resume, trying to get this stuff. I'm like, okay, what about your film? Putting all together. We're reaching out. I had a couple agents like reach out to me about her, but she had such an amazing year this past season. Like she ended up she was nominated for MVP, Player of the Year, and Forward of the Year in Sweden, from going to not playing basketball to 5 years and now playing against other players that have been in this space for so long and being able to accomplish that. Yeah, amazing.
And what's that like for you? Like, is this what you like? Is this your goal? Like, is this like the most rewarding thing that you can do?
I think the rare thing about me is I want to see others win because I know that like if I'm able to help them just like achieve their dreams, like I wish somebody would have done that for me. But again, I've had a lot of amazing people along the way kind of help shape me into the person I am. Like, Shelly Russey, Coach D, amazing. Met him 2 years ago when he was like first starting out his career, but just like I've been able to learn so much from him in that time, and I know they are so happy to see me win, and I love that for others. So I try and carry that forward.
Oh yeah. What's like the biggest challenge you had? Like, obviously, like as women, we talk about this all the time. Of like, sometimes it's like you have an idea, and it's like, well, it's a great idea, but we don't like we hear you, it could be cool, but like, do we really want to get behind it?
Yeah.
What's been like one of the biggest challenges for you as a female? Like I already feel like women's basketball has a ton of challenges anyways, not in men's, and I sit in men's, so I can say that freely. But at the same time, like, what was a challenge for you? Like, but was it money? Was it visibility?
Yeah.
Is it all of the above? But like, there. You got to have, where do you go make an LLC? Like, there is a whole bunch of people do not get taught nowadays. How what was a challenge for you? And then when were you like, I can do this?
Yeah. I think, so like I said, I'm a student of the game. Figuring out the LLC was easy. Like, that's fine. Now, when I'm thinking about I have this vision, and I'm like, okay, well, in order to make shit go, you need money, financial. Yeah. So it's green. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's just like no one, especially if something isn't looking the way that it's supposed to, no one's going to pay you any minor. No one's going to, try and get behind what your dream is. So it's still a struggle today, like just the financial component, because it's just like there's only so many tickets fans can buy in order to pay for just like, whatever the overhead is for that weekend. And like if we're ever short, like obviously I have to come out of my own personal pocket. And I'm like, before season started, I was literally like doing 3 jobs just to make sure everything was like good to go for this season. So, I mean, the visibility is definitely going to come because the product is pure. It's a pure mission. It's a pure statement. And the women that we have in this league, they can ball. So that speaks for itself, but financial, that's it.
Yeah. Was it hard? Like when you first started out, like getting somebody to kind of back you to get like the respect? I don't know if you're working with men or other women that like helped you out. Was that difficult, just like breaking into this?
Into having the women's premier basketball position? No. No, because the people that I have involved with me, they've literally seen me grow up.
Wow.
And they are happy for me. They trust me. They know that, my heart is good and what I'm trying to do is for the right reasons. So they don't mind coming out every weekend, or they don't mind, I'm not paying any of my coaches. Like they're here because they truly love the game and they want to support me and they want to see this league do well. So, when I have other people within the community that have been able to, do so well in the community, they've made a name for themselves and they speak highly of me, then it's easier for people to come in and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna come check out the women's PBA this weekend. I'm gonna see what they got going on. So yeah.
You were just at Gary Payton's. You went to Gary Payton's, right?
Yeah, so I saw his flyer on Instagram. I was like, never met him before. I know his brother. I was like, I'm gonna pull up on Gary. I'm gonna try and meet him.
Like, hey.
Yeah, so I'm waiting literally at the gym because one of our other coaches, Coach Carl, he's there at the event as well because he's one of the coaches at the event. So I'm waiting. I end up meeting like Gary's youngest brother, Hina, and we knew each other in passing just because he's in the same space. He's in the AAU space. Okay. I'm in the basketball space. He has a daughter.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
You know, basketball dad, basketball family. So like we finally like formally met then at that point. And I'm like, hey, I literally have to go to another meeting. Like I literally was late for my meeting. But I was just like, can I talk to your brother for like just a minute? I just want to let him know about this league that we have going on. And it's like, there's nothing financial I'm asking for. I'm literally just asking for his support, because if we have more people from Oakland giving us their stamp of approval, more people will come. And then hopefully, you know, they buy in.
Yeah.
Literally waited like for this man to finish up his camp. I was there at the camp. I was supposed to be there for 20 minutes. I ended up being there for 2 hours, just waiting to speak with him. Spoke to him. You know, he showed some interest in what we had going on. Hopefully we follow up soon. But yeah, whenever I have the opportunity to go and meet someone, I do my best. Yeah.
You gotta take it, because like that moment in time might be your moment,
right?
Or it might lead to your next moment.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so hard, is like sometimes you always like, I always find sometimes in meetings, like it's like, oh, I have to have a plan, and if I don't have this come out of this meeting, it was a failure.
Yeah. But
really, like, it's not. Like, you don't know where you're gonna go. And it's like, okay. So like if somebody said to you, hey, I'm gonna drop a bag. That would make your life real happy. And you could
take a lot of stress off my
a lot of stress. But I also think, like, you know, when I look at like awareness, right, of like, this is new ground, so people don't understand what they don't know. Yeah. Right. And so it's a lot of education. It's a lot of teaching, but it's also just a lot of like creating conversation. So you can get yourself in that conversation, and you can get yourself in a space where it's like, okay, like, I don't know what's going to come out of this, and maybe nothing, but then 2 weeks later, something does come out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to make sure you don't get lost in that like instant gratification, that instant win.
And I'm in it for the long game. Like I literally tell people, I'm like, this is chess, not checkers. I don't mind waiting. I'm not in it for the immediate gratification. Like I literally want to see this grow organically.
And like for you, like have you had the opportunity, like, you know, obviously there's not a WNBA team in Oakland, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct. There isn't. Yeah.
Right. Have you, like, you know, have other women of the game or WNBA players, like, have you been able to connect with them? Like, has that been easy, hard? Like, all of this sounds so easy. She makes it sound like, I know, woke up and batted my eyelashes and was like, hey, here it is. But, like, it's not. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like, what other women have you been able to pull from or incorporate, or you want to, right? Like, who, you know, do you want to, who do you want to reach out to? Who is somebody who this table can help you call to action of like, hey, like, it would be great into this?
Literally went to the Sparks game yesterday, and I saw, like, I know Nneka has her hands in a lot of, you know, other things. And I'm just like, okay, well, I really want to be able to be in that same circle. Like, I know that if I just had the opportunity to be at the table and just kind of share what my story is and what my overall mission is, like, I feel like people would listen. I feel like, you know, because again, like you just said, like, this is a new space. No one really knows what this is, and it is a lot of educating. But again, just opening the floor for dialogue to happen, I feel like that in itself would be able to, you know, create many or more open doors for me to just pitch this or be successful with it. Yeah.
And if you woke up tomorrow and were like, I'm done, where are you going to work? Like, if basketball, it doesn't exist tomorrow, we wake up, we wake up in like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I'm going to Starbucks. I'm straight going to Starbucks. I'm in the drive-thru, making sure everybody's having a good day, living their best life. That's what I'm doing.
Cappuccinos.
Exactly. But that's what. So that's like, you know what? That's just, and still happy. Yeah. Makes me happy, but it also, like, I get to make other people's day. Yeah. You know?
I'd probably be working on myself, to be honest. I know that for right now, I'm working on being a better version of myself, and I feel like I'd probably start reading more.
Ooh, what are you reading now? Tell me, what are you reading now?
I'm not reading anything, and I would like to. I feel like if basketball wasn't around, I'd be able to do so many more things, and I feel like reading self-care, self-help books, I think that would be beneficial to me. Yeah.
I love a good murder mystery. I'm one of those
on Instagram.
Yeah, like I like books that are like that, but then I also am like, is that weird that I like to learn about
What did
people?
you see on Instagram?
So there's
Because I'm curious.
Listen, I don't know if Siri's listening right now, but they were talking about, they're like, yeah, if you're someone that likes to fall asleep to like murder shows,
This is
This
is what I thought.
I'm like, this is me, because I'm like, Law and Order SVU, please put it on.
like there's something wrong with
there's
you.
something to get checked out or something.
They're like, why is trauma normal? Why does trauma feel comforting to you? And I was just like,
Why is it gotta be trauma? Like flip it on the other side. Like why can't I solve problems? Why can't I be a problem solver? Why can't I like help somebody? Or
Yes.
Why is it gotta be me that has something wrong with me?
I'm like, it's intellectually like stimulating. I'm like, I love
Connect to
listening
that.
to people. I love listening or watching how people think.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that. Then speaking of, okay, have you done the Murdoch?
No, okay, you just got to give me a list of like everything I need to like do in the next
you the Murdoch.
Murdoch's
Have you heard it?
interesting.
In South Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's like on Netflix. There's a Murdoch. I don't even know what it's called.
documentary.
So it's some about like the dad who murdered his family and then hid it, but it's like so deep in this whole trial of like just intertwined weird
interesting.
things in South Carolina. You got to get on it because you're gonna be like,
It's interesting.
I'm going to watch that. The last thing I watched that was like close to that was the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. I'm like, why didn't I just watch this all by
see,
myself?
that's too much.
It was
for
tough.
me.
Yeah,
It was. I was like, but why did I watch this? Because I was just like, this is. I was like, is there something wrong with me? I just watched this by myself.
No, there's nothing wrong with you. The rest of the world watched it by themselves.
They
too.
did,
Yeah,
yeah.
just they're not outing themselves.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm like,
true.
They're gonna go, oh yeah, I heard about it. And I already watched all 8 episodes.
All 8.
They're just not saying anything about
I
it.
binge watched it all the way through. I'm like, at least I took breaks. And I'm like,
So
it was weird.
Is that the kind of stuff you're watching? Because are you watching NBA? Are you watching WNBA? Or are you?
I was watching NBA after the Warriors fell out. I just kind of,
She lost her excitement.
I deleted the NBA app. I just canceled my subscription. I was like, we're done here.
Steph Curry, you just cost the NBA app and
No.
NBA Plus. That's true.
I love Steph, though.
I'm a big Klay Thompson fan because I went to Washington State.
Yeah.
So he's like the only dude, right?
I probably know my friend.
Maybe I do.
Mariah Cooks. She played on the women's basketball team.
Oh, sounds familiar.
She plays in the league now. She's now the DA over in Oakland.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
So we have a lot of professional women playing in the women's PBA. We have lawyers, doctors, police officers,
So cool.
a lot of amazing people. Graphic designers like my friend Jasmine Gwynn. This year, I believe she was awarded Adweek Top 100. What? Yeah, creatives. Yeah. So
Wow.
What?
yeah, there's a lot of amazingly talented women here in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're able to kind of take a break from basketball though. When you do that, you're watching murder mysteries, or are you watching like reality TV? Like what?
I just got my ex.
In a murder, how she could avoid jail.
How to Get Away with Murder was one of my favorite shows. If we were asking about it, yeah, How to Get Away with Murder.
No, that is.
I was like, that's all I watched while I was in undergrad, to be honest. Yeah. But when I'm not, when I'm not playing basketball,
for a little bit.
I literally just, so as soon as I moved back here, I left my Xbox in my mom's house. Usually I bring my Xbox with me when I'm overseas because I'm like,
Oh yeah.
little leisure activity. So
Yeah.
playing a little 2K.
Okay, 2K.
Yeah.
Play with. Who's your person?
I mean, I've been doing the career mode, but if I'm picking teams, obviously Golden State.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what's like is the career mode where you can like go back and play
As yeah. So you just literally get to be whoever you want to be.
That's sweet.
I try not to like tweak my stats too much.
I was gonna say, you can
yeah.
your
Your
own
attribute,
right?
yeah. Let's not make a 7-foot guard with handles and can shoot like KD. I'm like, let's be normal.
You gotta be, you gotta down.
I'm like, I'm like 6'4".
Okay, what's your guilty pleasure? Like
tweets.
Well, just like what is your like? I love you. For real, hate me, love me, whatever. Don't care, y'all.
Just looking at the camera. Hey,
Like I'm like, Max, turn the comments off when I make the songs, please. Turn them off. I don't need to see them. That's not good for my mental health. I love to get dressed. I love to get my hair done, and like that's just me. What makes you feel your absolute best? Like if you were to walk into a room with Adam Silver and pitch this, what are like 2 things? What are you doing to get ready, like for yourself, and what's your walk-on song? Because I got a walk-on song.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. What is yours first?
tough cues. Yeah, you
Start
got
me Bodak Yellow all day long.
I like that.
All
I
day
like that. I like that.
or you can put on anything Ariana Grande, and I will live my best like rock star dreams.
Yeah.
Anyone?
I think that what would make me feel good, probably just have I want to start my day off with not having to worry about other things other than myself. So that would definitely just put me in the best headspace possible to just be my most authentic self. And then my boss walkout song would probably have to be Jesus, I can't remember the song, but it's by Sims. It's Lil Sims. She's a UK artist.
Okay.
But love her music. It really gets me pumped up. But let me find the song. But
Max is going to be shouting out Little Sims in the UK right now. We need to tag her.
Anyone is listening.
Yeah, get her in on this song.
Anything Lil Baby for me. I am the biggest Lil Baby fan for some reason. I think the States play it.
Look at me and Megan, and then it's like, if you had to guess what our songs would be, it would probably be like a version of like Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande. And I love her. I love all of them, but like that's probably what people think. And then I'm over here with Cardi B and your Little Baby. Like, we could not have just broken a stereotype more than we just did.
When you're just around it all the time, I just feel like that's what you just become. You just love it.
Yes.
It's like, I want to play Lil Baby right now. I'd go to this concert.
Like if I'm at the like Miranda Lambert or Little Baby.
I'm not gonna lie. I like a couple of her songs. I just don't know.
I love a good country.
She's amazing.
Yeah. Like, love it.
I didn't start listening to country till like last year. Yeah.
And you are like the dream and like in the world of Asia, we're like 10 years behind. She is living her best like Chinese life right now.
I'm like, this is amazing. This is great. I love this.
This was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Welcome to, you're like, how many songs did she put out in a year? And because like 20 albums deep.
I told you, I'm like, I've been living under a rock. See, that's why I haven't seen Vampire Diaries. I don't know what Poppy is up until now.
I did. She was nice.
Whoa.
What's been your favorite? You've traveled a ton.
Yes.
And that is, I think sometimes we take it as like a luxury. Like that is not common for people to be able to travel internationally, but also be able to travel and like live where you are.
Yeah.
And you've lived in some like crazy town places that don't speak English, which I would not survive in because I would be like
Google Translator.
That's
my best friend. Yes.
But like, was that intimidating for you as a woman? Like, it's different because it's like, okay, you go over there and you're by yourself. You're with your team, but like you're by yourself in another country.
Yeah.
For a long period of time. And yes, you're on a team and all this stuff, but like, is that intimidating at all? Like scary? Like, did you have any like, if you don't hear from me in an hour, someone call me?
No. No, thank God. I'm not going to wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen in the future. But I mean, like I said, with my childhood and being in a homeless shelter, I feel like it's kind of prepared me to kind of adapt to any type of environment. And I feel like while I'm overseas, like, I do my best to try and learn the language because, you know, if you do that, then they respect you a lot.
Yeah.
They, you know, they give you grace if something were to come up or anything like that. But I mean, for the most part, no, El Salvador, I had a little bit of it was a culture shock for me in El Salvador because like, I mean, especially during like the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm in a city now, there's military driving around and they literally have AK-47s on them. Or I'm going to the grocery store and they're strapped. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are we doing in this grocery store? So I'm like, literally, I mean, we stayed in the capital, we were in San Salvador, but again, just, that was a weird space for me and it took me a little bit of time to adjust to. So out of all the places I've been to, that was probably the biggest culture shock. But I mean, living in Egypt, like I played there, like even that in itself, like I was brought up Muslim, but obviously I'm not in a traditionally like Muslim, you know, country living there and abiding by their rules. So like there were some limitations that were put on women and kind of just like being in a country or even in a state that's so liberal and I'm able to do or love whoever I want. And now, you know, I'm in a place where they have to be very conscious of how they dress, what they say, how they carry themselves. They can't go certain places without like having, you know, and being accompanied by a man. Yeah. Or they can't have men in their room past a certain time, even if it's just a friendly situation. So like that in itself was kind of like, I'm really in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did somebody give you like a buck of like I look at like you and how you're helping like all these young women that like to go play overseas. Like, you literally should have like a little dossier of like, hey, here's all the things you need to know that you have no idea that are coming with this, where you're going. Because I think that's a lot of people's hesitation. Like, I feel like men go overseas and they play in the overseas league and it's like, it's cool. But for a woman, it is, I will say it, it's intimidating sometimes to feel like, I'm by myself. I'm alone. I'm very vulnerable.
Different country.
I don't know the rules. I can't dial 911 for help.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I asked my friend, I was like, who do we call? Because 911 is in the U.S. Yeah. Who do we call in case there is an emergency? Like,
I need to know that.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
just in case. You're just someone, I guess someone asks me, I want to be able to give them the answer, right?
But really, I need it in case anything goes wrong.
Yeah. But like, that's not something you think about. So when you look at like these young girls that she's mentoring and like they're coming up through your league, like to me, that's something, a huge, powerful asset that you have that a lot of people don't, because they don't have that life experience.
Yeah.
And you can tell me, I've read this book, I've done this or the other, but if you haven't actually
Experienced it. It's
experienced it as a player, it's not the same. And, I have a couple friends that have played overseas and that, but like for them, even from like a guy's perspective, like you're kind of by yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of time, like you play basketball, you go to practice, and then you don't really
14 hours to just do whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you filling your time with when you're over there?
Work.
Yeah.
The women's PBA.
But like, what do most other women fill their time with? Like,
I mean, there are some situations where, if your club isn't paying you enough money, like maybe you'll do camps or clinics to obviously meet or supplement the income that you are getting. Some travel that do have a good salary.
Yeah.
So, they're granted that. But I mean, for most, it's more so just traveling. Like, why not? If you're in a different country, you might not be able to ever go back there.
Totally.
Take it in as much as possible.
Totally.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place you've ever been? France.
I say this every time. Like, if anyone asks me, France, it's my favorite.
Okay, why? Go ahead, defend it. I want to hear it. Defend it. Why? Make your case.
That's why.
So when I was there, I was in
You could drink wine. Anytime you want. It's acceptable. Whole day long.
Crazy thing, I don't drink wine, so I was literally there for the basketball. But yeah.
Me and Nadia go for the basketball. I'm going for the wine. She's going for the crepes. It's a perfect.
And I'll meet you there, and we'll just all meet up after.
Love it.
Get a charcuterie reward. Yeah. I think just that was like my first like opportunity to be in Europe. That was like where I got my foot in the door, because obviously El Salvador, I was putting up crazy numbers so that, people in Europe would actually see me as an asset to their team. And I finally get to France. I loved it, to be honest. I just felt so welcomed. And even though, like, yes, I'm Canadian and I don't speak French, unfortunately.
I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, no, my French is terrible. I was like trying to say black pepper for so long. I was like, no. That's how you say
They're coming for you.
Yeah.
Look out. The Canadians are coming for her, not knowing how to say it. Happy guys are going to get on her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Hockey Podcast is coming for you. No. You better learn at least 2 French things. Or
No. I get a pass. Yes. No, but just being there, I love the culture. I did my best to try and speak French. I mean, while I was there, I wasn't getting paid a lot, but I was one of those people that were like, to supplement my income, I got to do camps and clinics. So I got to, work with the under 10s, and I was coaching with like the under 16 and under 18. And I started building relationships with them. So like, obviously they can't understand me during a game. So I'm learning like certain things in French so that they can be like, okay, we're going to play this defense, or okay, we're going to attack here, or, keep passing the ball around. So I think that place touched my heart the most, because when I told them I was leaving, like, all the kids started breaking down. Like, it was just a beautiful experience while I was there. But I'm still really good friends with Vinny. Vinny was one of the players as well as coaches on the men's side, and he was the one that spoke the most English. So I spent a lot of time with him and my other teammate that was from the Netherlands. So, I mean, again, just being an import that actually has another import to kind of connect with instead of me just being by myself. I had a better experience because I had someone I could relate to. And, if I had a bad game, I'd be like, do you want to go get a crepe, or do you want to go to Saint Etienne and get a panini or something? Like,
yeah. Okay. Where have you played that has an opportunity to win you over again? That's my nice way of saying, what place did you not like the best? But what place would you give an opportunity to try again?
Literally Mexico. Just my old team hit me up the other day asking me if I was going to come back. I was a little offended because they didn't ask me initially.
Okay.
But yeah. So.
But you know what though? Like, I have found in life that sometimes people learn hard lessons.
Yeah.
And then when they spin the block, you get to decide.
And I decided to stay here because I feel like what I'm doing, what I'm creating is so much bigger than that. And I'm like, okay, well.
Girl, okay, so listen. So when the universe said to you and you're like, my feelings are hurt that you're not coming to me. Yeah. All of that, right? Okay. That is because your purpose was to do this.
Yeah.
And literally, had they asked you the first time, you would have said yes.
I probably would have because, like, I gave so much praise to, like, that league. I was like, this is a great league. Like, we had 4 players playing there. Yeah.
And now, because they did it, and then when they came back and spun the block, you're like, I actually don't need this.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, is this where I wasn't supposed to be there initially. So, like, I like to call it the, like, if God's going to ask you, are you still stupid? Like, I'm going to let him try again. Are you still stupid? And then he wants to see if you've, like, learned your lesson or if you're still going to be stupid. I've had the I'm still stupid moment, trust me, all the time where I'm like, you got me. Yeah. Okay. Next time I know what's up. Yeah. You wouldn't be where you are. Yeah. So that's where, like, the beauty of this, and, like, Meg and I were talking about this earlier of, like, just honestly, like, it sucks. And you're like, this sucks. And they didn't ask me and my heart's hurt. And I love, like, blah, blah, blah. So, like, now you're like, no, it wasn't my path. Yeah. In that moment, you're like, it's devastating. But that moment allowed you to be where you are now.
Yeah. And I think the biggest takeaway from just that moment, and then obviously spinning the block and we're back here, I learned to value myself a lot more. I learned to realize that, like, okay, that was probably immediate gratification that I wanted.
It made you feel good.
Yeah.
It made you feel good. Yeah.
But I'm like, now I'm just like, you know what? I know what I bring to the table. I'm not going to, you know, compromise in any way. And if, like you said, it's an answer, like if someone gives you a no, you're not talking to the right person. So I probably wasn't doing the right thing. And I know the path that I'm on is the right one.
Right. Yeah. I love it. What's like your favorite, or do you feel like your most important personality or characteristic trait that someone should have just in life? Like, what is
being charismatic?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be a bump on a log.
No, because it doesn't make it fun. Like, people want to, like you said, people want to know your personality. Just show your most authentic version of yourself. And if they don't like it, then they're not the people for you. And if they do, then again, you're operating at a higher frequency because you're showing authentically who you are.
I honestly, like, I say this a lot of times to, like, even my staff is like, you have to be so comfortable in who you are that if you walk into a room and no one claps for you, you can still walk out of there listening to Cardi B, Bodak Yellow, you just killed that thing.
Yeah.
Not changing how I feel. Like, okay. Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to walk down the hall and I'm going to open the next door.
Yeah.
Like, because it's so hard. I think we live in a world of, like, instant gratification. Right. And especially as women, I feel like we have this innate need to be liked and approved and celebrated. And approved is a good word. Like, we have the need to do it, when in reality, what does your approval really mean to me?
Yeah. Right.
Like, it makes me feel good. And I try now, for me, like, to not feel like if I see someone who I'm like, they need my approval. Like, I went through a phase in my career where I felt like I needed my superior's approval. Like, I would do amazing things, but then there would be no, like, I call it back patting. Like, there'd be no, like, great job.
Yeah.
Because it was like, we just expect you to do a great job. And I'm like, okay, I have to shift my mind instead of being like, I know I'm doing a great job and I'm killing it, as opposed to, like, do you think I am?
Yeah.
Is it okay? But part of that is just the culture of...
It's like this approval-seeking culture, especially as women. We have to be able to, like, if we don't get the pat on our backs or if we don't get that constant, like, reassurance, we're just like, maybe we're not doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't like me.
Yeah.
Like,
And I've gone to the space where I'm like, again, I'm not going to care. Like, you're not going to be everyone's, cup of tea. But like you said, just respect me.
Yeah.
Respect me when I'm in the same room. You can have your own views, but yeah.
Well, and I think that's, like, the power that, like, I think for women, like, I try, and we talked about this on another show, of just, like, you have another version, like, another you is coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you being yourself, but you also creating space for her to be herself, is some of the most, like, impactful, like, positive things we can do. And I look at some of these entertainers that have done that, like, even, like, through sports, yes, but, like, just entertainers who are just like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And love it or hate, like, again, I'm going to shout out Cardi B again because I love her. But, like, she just doesn't care.
Yeah. And I love Cardi.
And I love that because it's like, she just she doesn't care.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I'm trying to, like, find people like that where it's like, I want to get to a space where I'm just like, yes, and like, You know, like I've tried to get to that or a place where like when someone says something that I don't like, I'm just like, okay.
And I'm working on, getting to that space. Like I know when
It's hard.
I'll listen to someone, then I'll get home and I'll just be reflecting on it when in reality I should have just been like, okay.
And you have to be like, honestly, like we talk about spinning the block. Like just sometimes the world knows better than you.
Yeah.
And you have to trust in it. And like we were even talking like about this podcast, like where did this come from?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like y'all, she is gonna spit her drink. Like I don't know. Like it wasn't like I was like planning this for years and was like this. It was just something I felt called to do, and I love celebrating other people, but also I'm like, there's a space for this, and there are people that want to know things. Like I want to know.
Yeah,
like
know.
Right. That's what I'm like
how you're gonna be the next G League.
We're working for her.
Yeah, I know.
Like we're gonna be looking for a job over there. So like,
it's just your story too is just so inspirational, and there's so many young women who have no idea about your story, and just being able to share that is just so special.
Yeah. Well, and creating a space that's like it's like the road less traveled is scary. It really is. Like it is. When I started my company, it was like, if this fails and falls apart, am I gonna be embarrassed? Am I gonna look bad? Is it gonna negatively impact me or the way people see me?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, people fail every day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember who said it, but there was a great quote that I saw that said the difference between success and failure is which side of the mistakes you're on.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, success is you're just standing on a pile of your mistakes.
Yeah.
And failure is you're underneath your mistakes. So that's the exact same scenario. It's just a matter of which side you're going to allow yourself to be on.
Yeah.
The shit in the middle is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, so then that like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like if it fails, great. Like you get fired, you get failed. Like cool.
But it's also that I was gonna say, like, was there any moment where you felt like, oh, I just failed at this, or you learned from a mistake in the past, or you learned from something?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I don't know what.
She's like, this morning. I was driving
I'm like right here.
Am I going to this podcast?
No, I was looking forward to this podcast for like a week now. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get there early. Oh, we're gonna know where to go. Too dead. Yeah. But I think, again, just when trying to get sponsorships in the beginning, like I heard a lot of no's or hey, we don't have that in our budget right now, and I'm just like, okay. Okay. So like
Receipts, girl.
Yeah, I have. Trust me.
He's like, not them all.
You had a binder with like poly. Those poly.
Like you said this on April 19th, 2022. Okay.
That's what she's doing till 2:00 in the morning, everyone. She's making her receipt notebook.
Yep.
But I mean, that was definitely that was one of those days for me.
Yeah.
And then, just the learning that came from that, I'm just like, okay. As soon as season finishes, I'm like, I'm on Fiverr. I'm trying to figure out, who knows how to do something that I don't know how to do. And then and the good thing is, like, if I don't know something, I'm either going to figure it out or I'm going to learn from someone that knows how to do something so that I can acquire those skills, right? So this time around, I'm trying to get some sponsorships this year, and I was successful at getting a few. But, I mean, I take that as a win in itself because, again, if I didn't know or if I didn't get told no last year about certain things and what to change about what I did have, I wouldn't be in this space now. Yeah. So
I think that's such a thing too, like for women, or at least for myself, like whenever I get a no, it's so hard to like push yourself to be like, I'm not going to accept that no, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
But I think it takes a different kind of person to be able to kind of accept the failure and then move past it and like be better. Like, I just think that's so hard. So I don't know, how can you speak to that? Like just being able to get the confidence to just like keep going and keep
literally, oh my goodness, just, okay. So outside of like sponsorships, like grant writing, I'm not a grant writer, but I'm going to put that out there. I am not a grant writer,
but if you're a good one, she's looking for interns.
I am with open arms, but like just I've gotten 2 no's recently. They're, I wrote a couple of grants, thought that would be, helpful to what I was doing. And, I'm like, oh, I did a really good job. I put a lot of my time and effort into this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this one. And then I get that email and I'm just like, literally like cry.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, dang, I really put like my heart and soul into this. And like, I cry for a little bit and then I'm just like, okay, you know what? On to the next. Like, I think the beautiful thing about basketball, it's told me life is, you know, basketball is a game of runs. So like, I mean, shit, I could be down in the third quarter, but you know, I could have an amazing fourth quarter. It's not about how you start, but how you finish. I'm just like, that's literally what keeps me going.
Yeah.
Every single day.
When I think like for like young entrepreneurs, right? And people that are like going outside the box, it's hard when you hear no because you feel like what you're doing isn't good enough or they don't like it or whatever. So it's like you hear that no and it's like, oh, we don't have it in the budget. But then you see them do something else and you're like, okay, so clearly
like we did have it.
You have the budget. It just wasn't for me. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? That's okay because the next one might be for me and not for me. And I think, you know, as I just listened to your story and I'm just like, the amount of like love and passion you have for it, so immensely inspiring because so many people would have been like, you're like, you can't be for everyone. Yeah. And I think that is the hardest part about as a woman is you have like, we're wired differently than men. Like we have like a bunch more brain cells than them that I love everybody, but we do. But at the same time, like, you just don't have that quit in you where it's like, hey, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to go. And I think for you, as you grow this, it's like, you're going to look back and you're going to have something that is running without you. And you're going to be like, holy shit, I did that. And that's going to be your aha moment because it's going to be like all that shit that I was like down on myself on and I didn't think I could do. There's going to be some girl that like you sat here or man or woman, anybody that says, you are the person that inspired them. Yeah. Because you have the person that inspired you and you are that for her. Yeah. Or him. Yeah. And that's what's got to keep you going because you're doing cool shit. Yeah. Let's so cool. Real. Like, I know. You're doing cool shit. Like, this is cool. And it's like to have your story told has to happen. Yeah. But it's also exciting. Like, you're still a player. It's like, how are you still a player?
I ask myself that every day. I'm like, I'm tired today. I'm like,
is that your fear of like, so one of my friends, Angela, do you know Angela Rodriguez?
No.
She plays on one of the Mexico teams now. I'll have to connect you guys.
The team, I probably played against her last year. She played in Mexico.
I don't know.
Oh, let me find out. She picking me up full court. Bye.
I don't know, but she was talking to me about just like, when do you know when to hang it up? Like, when as a player, when are you like, okay, like we just saw some guys retire in the NBA. Like, when do you know when to hang it up? And I feel like men play exorbitant amount of
like 17 years. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm like,
so like, when are you like, okay, I have to make my love for the game has to transition to something else, and you can still be connected to the game, but you're not banging your body up. Which is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for some reason, I just, without even thinking, I keep throwing the number 34 out there. Like that's when I think I'll be at a space where I'm fully content with everything I've been able to accomplish. I'm like, I want to start a family around that age. I want to kind of get into that next phase of my life because basketball has been such a huge part of my life since I was like a kid. So, I mean, I put that out there, but again, like my body... When it's that day, I finally wake up and I'm just like, I'm not able to keep up with the young ones anymore. I'm like, it's time.
But you're still able to keep up with them. So
I know. And I'm just like, you know what? Especially when you're at this age and you've played so long, you got to be smarter. You know, they have the athleticism. Yeah. But you have the IQ. You're able to read the floor a little bit better than they are. And you just use that to your advantage until it's not an advantage anymore.
So you're like, coach, I got like 5 minutes in me.
I'm like, hey, just sub me out. As soon as you see one of these, I'm like, that's the sign.
My back's a little tight today, coach. So I'm gonna just,
like, do I need to practice? Do I need to practice the whole practice?
Or we like a 30-minute?
Yeah.
Little like show my face, get in, do a little light stretching, foot rolling, and then I'll pop off in the back.
Yeah, or if they're doing something a little too complex, I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in 20 minutes when you guys are finished with this drill.
Have you ever, and we talked about this a lot, have you ever in your career had to be in a situation where from my experience, so I want to say this correctly, like oftentimes men are looked down upon, or in the world of sports, of like, you're not as good as me because you can't do X.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had that situation?
No, I feel like even growing up, I've always played with the guys. Like when I was learning how to play basketball and I'd be at the park for like numerous hours, like there was only one park or one court at Diamond Park. And, you know, there'd be people waiting. And I'm like, if you want to get on the court, you got to play me for it. So I've just like always had that mentality. I'm like,
shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I literally do talk so much.
I love it. The confidence, though.
But that's where she
I love
gets
it.
from.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's part of it. You got to
Back it up, too.
Yeah. And she's like, I wish I could run faster than you, too. And I got to, I'm going to go get it real quick. Yeah. I'm with it. What for you, like, if you had to talk to your future self, like we talked earlier on our this or that, and you said you want to go to the future.
Yeah.
What does 10 years from now look like for you? Personally and professionally.
Personally, I'm in a loving relationship with a family, and I'm pretty close to the best version of myself, but I'm in a place where I can continue to help others.
Yeah.
Professionally, really just want to see this take off. Like you said, this is my baby. Like, I'm willing to do whatever for it. So I'm hoping that it is expanded to other parts of the country, and globally people now are aware of who we are and what we do for the community.
Yeah. What is your advice to the next you? Like, somebody says to you, like, I want to be you. How do they become you? And it's not have a dream. How do they become you?
How do they become me? I would say to one, I think the biggest takeaway from today is just kind of like, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I mean, I know growing up, I had like a huge like people-pleasing complex. And again, like I should always put myself at the number one instead of putting myself on the back burner. Yeah. So, and I mean, like I wasted so much time doing that. So I would tell myself, value yourself, understand that you bring a lot to the table, and if that person doesn't see it, the right person is out there and they'll find that in you. Yeah. So it's
kind of like our table. Like first it was me, then I found Megan, now the team is here. So like we're just gonna have a full-on buffet here one day of just all of us in here.
Yeah.
But I can't thank you like so much. Thank you so much for coming and just being open and honest and vulnerable and sharing your story. And it is honestly, I sit here and I almost teared up twice, and I don't cry.
No,
I don't cry. That's my I don't. But I'm like sitting here and I'm like, damn. Like,
I know.
I like.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm over here like 9:30 in bed, and she's like till 2 a.m. I'm like, you are way better.
I'm like, we can switch spots for a couple days.
She's like, I'll take 2 days off, but see, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not doing all that. Yeah, there tomorrow. Like it'll be there tomorrow. That's the one thing I've learned is like, for me, is like, it seems like when you're younger, everything has to be done instantly. And the best thing I've ever learned is, and I try so hard, and I'm not good at it all the time, but like I'm still working on, is deciphering what needs to be done now and what can be done tomorrow. Because you will run yourself into the ground trying to do everything so quickly, so fast, so everything. And then you lose yourself in it because you're like, damn, like I can't even go to dinner with like my family or this or that, where it's like, you know what? Like, is the sun gonna come up? Yeah, it is. Is the world gonna keep turning? Yes. And you know what? This can wait till the morning. And like, even with my team, I tell them like, yes, I might sit there and send emails at 8 o'clock at night. But I'm just brain dumping, like off my brain so I don't forget. That doesn't mean I want you to do anything with it. Yeah. Wait till tomorrow, because you can get so sucked into just a rat race of just constant, that if you don't pour into yourself what you're pouring out,
you're gonna feel.
It's like there's a sermon that just talks about how like you literally you're pouring in somebody's cup and you can't ever understand why it's not full enough. Why don't they give anything back? But what you don't realize is like there's a hole in the bottom of your cup. So you're pouring, and there's a leak at the bottom that you don't see. So like you can't pour from an empty cup. Yeah. And like I'm a firm believer, what's in my cup is for me. What's flowing out and overflowing is for everyone else. Yeah. Because if I can't keep myself at 100%, you're not getting the best version of me, but then you're also, I'm not keeping myself honest of what I need to be able to thrive.
Yeah.
And I ain't in the business of surviving. I want to thrive. And right now, you are in the survival. You are on the show.
Yeah.
You are in there just
doing it all. Yeah.
And I want to make sure that we celebrate you and help you, and anything that we can do or anyone watching can do.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, like, how do they get a hold of you?
Message me on Instagram at
Get up in
PBA.
Get up in her DM. Get up in my DM. It goes down in the DM. Yeah.
Or email to be more professional, womenspba@gmail.com. But yes, if I do not respond within 24 hours, please send me an Instagram message at Women's PBA.
Or you can hit us up on our Instagram and be like, we hit her in her DM and she didn't hit us back. And we'll shout her out and be like, you said you worked at 2 a.m. I was like,
what's going on? I'm like, hold on, I'm up. Let me.
Can't do it. No. Well, I am just so grateful you shared your story. You came all the way here to see us on set. And I can't wait to see what comes for you next, because I think the sky's the limit. And you are literally like, you're changing the world. Like, you were changing women's basketball, and people don't even, you've scratched the surface. Yeah. And people don't know what's coming for them. And you better just Cardi B yourself into that room every time.
Not to listen to voting.
I know, right? And every time she hears it, she's going to think of you and be like,
I'm going to think of you.
Yes.
Let me copy in my hand.
Bobby, yes.
We changed her life. It's fine. She's going to leave here and be like, what did I just do?
I know. I hope it's as good as I'm saying. You know, it lives up to the hype.
I hope so. If not, I'm going to write a review.
Tag you in our comments.
That's fine.
It sucks. They totally just have.
I'm not confident.
No, but thank you so much for coming out here and giving time to this and to the table and just sharing your story for the next you, which is you're her. You are every girl's dream right now. And keep just kicking ass, like, for real.
Thank you.
Keep doing
that
it.
means so much. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. Like, I didn't know what to expect coming into this, but, you know.
It wasn't this.
It wasn't this, but I think this has been such an eye-opening experience, and I just want to thank you for being here and doing this, and you as well. Like, I've had a great time, and like I said, I've learned something from this. So I'm going to continue to apply it to my life and continue to work on making the Women's PBAs, you know, making it something special for people to look back on and continue to be a part of.
Okay, so that was amazing.
Amazing.
I feel
so good.
So inspired. That's not what I was expecting at all from that interview. Like, I did not know a lot of her story, and to hear that, you know, she was actually homeless, living in a homeless shelter.
I know what she's overcome.
Growing up, and she's now back in that same community, like, giving back, like, building a women's league. Like, she's the definition of literally just giving back, but also changing her own story. Like, hearing her talk, like, I didn't want my circumstances to dictate me. Like, so much I think we get caught up in our own circumstances, and we let that change who we are. And she is just a breath of fresh air of somebody who didn't let that happen to her.
So inspiring. She was a great, authentic person, and I just think she's going to do great things.
For sure. And she loves cats.
Loves
cats. Doesn't speak French, but she loves France.
Loves France. Originally from Canada.
And she loves Little Sims, a UK artist. So Little Sims, like, we got to figure out. I got to hear that. We're going to go find that tonight. But more importantly, like, she started this from nothing. And I think she has a place. Like, Faatimah is just so passionate about basketball, but not even about basketball, about what the game has given her.
Right.
And how she's able to take the game and give to someone else. So it's almost like the passing of a torch in, like, a relay race, right? It's like the next person and the next person. You just keep lighting and it keeps going. Like, that's what I see for her. And watching her come in here and just be vulnerable, share her story, it inspires me to be more vulnerable and share my story. It's a wild thing, and I love it. I'm so glad we had her on.
I know, such an inspiration. Her energy was great.
For sure.
Such a great person to meet. So
for sure. Her energy was, like, awesome.
Love it.
It was calm, but it was also confident.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was also just like, she's a badass.
She is.
She's a badass.
I want to be like her.
Let's call it what it is.
She's a badass. I want to be like her.
We want to be like you, Faatimah. We want to be like you. We want to be like you.
All right. Well, make sure to like and subscribe. Drop a review or comment. That will definitely help us grow. Follow us on social, and see us next week.
Tune in next week. Can't wait to see who we're able to share with you guys, tell some more stories, and get so many more people to her table. Tune in next week. We'll see you guys then.